Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Or start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered. VOP this morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday. In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics, social justice, and more. Good morning and welcome to VOP this morning. A beautiful Monday. It is the 25th day. Yes, the 25th day in the month of August. And, well, it's a beautiful day, but of course, ASU is prepping for a strike tomorrow. Protest, rather, for a protest within campuses. Well, I hope this doesn't happen. Oh, well, let's get to some of the conversations that we have for you this morning. I am Moses Humphrey, and first on our radar, Atiku vows to support anyone who emerges ADC candidate. As Ohaneze says, no Igbo person will contest against Tinubu. Interesting times indeed. Benue speaker resigns after impeachment plot.
Also on our radar today, Oyebanji warns appointees to defend government policies, whether good or bad. Interesting. And I am Fina. Okay, Chuku, you're welcome to the show.
Good morning and thanks for joining us. I am Chukwuma Okoro. Well, those are the major topics of discussion for today. We also have other interesting trending stories. Before we get into those major topics, let's look at what's happening in the polity, what's taking a buzz on the social media. Now, Nigeria has ranked the only African country among the world's 20 most disliked nations, according to data released by the World Population Review, where the country occupies the 15th spot, joining global powers such as the United States, China, and Russia on the controversial list. The ranking shared by World of Statistics on X placed China as the most disliked nation, followed by the United States, Russia, North Korea, and Israel. Others on the list include Pakistan, Iran, Syria, Iraq, India, United Kingdom, Japan, Saudi Arabia, Germany, Turkey, South Korea, Afghanistan, the Philippines, and Italy, where reactions from Nigerians online showed little shock. Many argued that Nigeria's governing challenges, corruption, and global reputation made its inclusion predictable. When I saw this story, I laughed, and my major concern was, well, should it bother me if you dislike me, but I'm living well? But my concern here is that we are disliked and we are not living well. So look at other countries that are also disliked, that top the list. And Nigeria happens to be in that list. United Kingdom, Russia, United States, China, Italy. People in those countries live very well. So should it be their concern whether you like them or you dislike them? So it is, for us, it is double jeopardy. People dislike us and we don't even live well. So where do we go from here? I don't know, maybe someone here can help me to answer. Also, Moses, how do you feel about the whole thing? Let me ask you, someone dislikes you, but you don't even bother to know whether the person dislikes you because the person doesn't even solve your problems. Should it be your concern?
Of course, it wouldn't be my concern. I mean,
absolutely.
I can't be bothered.
Absolutely.
But I'm more concerned about the reactions of Nigerians to this story.
Okay.
Because this story, this report, this survey, I think conducted by World Research something. Yes. Those that conducted this.
World Population Review.
World Population Review. Now, I was asking myself, what methodology did they use in conducting this survey? Was there even a survey? No, there wasn't a survey. It was basically, picking up information from different websites and,
That's the survey. That is survey. That's the method.
Honestly,
you could question the methodology.
That's not the methodology.
No, you could question it, but a survey was conducted.
Yeah,
Let me ask you this
survey.
question. Imagine Nigeria being the first, like topping the chart, and the country that's most loved. What will you say? You embrace this report now.
Leave that thing.
No, what am I leaving? What am I leaving?
Because I wanted to ask the same question. When they say that the Nigerians are the happiest people on earth, everybody goes home. Hey, we are very happy people. Even
that, I question that as well. I question that. Happy how? What are the
parameters?
Yes, with which you judged. Anyway, for this one, if you look at the countries on that list, those are not countries that anybody would dislike, really. The USA, China. These countries are loved. People
Can you
want
say
to
the same
go
of
there.
Iran, Iraq, Syria, Pakistan, South Korea?
I understand Moses' point now.
Okay.
I understand Moses' point.
I'm
Because
here.
it's a matter of who is liking and who is disliking.
Exactly.
Iranians will ordinarily dislike United States of America because of their, long-drawn battles, conflicts and all of that. A lot of people around China will also dislike China because of their larger-than-life. They try to play the primacy of in the Asian continent and all of that. A lot of people in West Africa dislike Nigeria because they see us. You go to Ghana, you cause problem. You go to Benue, you cause problem. You go to Cote d'Ivoire, you cause problem. You go to Mali, you cause problem. You go to Nigeria,
this in itself is the problem I have.
You cause problem.
This in itself is the problem I have. I think Nigerians hate Nigeria more than anyone else. Nigeria is not that bad. Nigeria is not that bad. Things may be bad, all right?
Okay.
The policies of government, the attitude of Nigerians, especially, in terms of being corrupt and all. But all other nations are corrupt too. There's corruption everywhere.
No, it's the degree.
There's corruption everywhere.
It's the degree.
I think Nigerians should try to love Nigeria a little.
God bless you for saying that.
Wait, now, Fina, allow me.
God bless you.
When you love Nigeria, you would not be quick to speak negativity about the country. Exactly. Nigerians hate Nigeria. So Nigerians would always jump on anything that discredits this country. I mean, a lot of people that reacted to that post on social media, blaming the government. Who makes up the government? The people. It's the people. The people make up the government. If you pick anybody from the street and put them in a position of power, they will do almost, in fact, if not worse or more than what our politicians are doing. Nigerians are quick to speak negativity to issues that concern Nigeria, and the world is watching. All right, the world is watching. People are a lot of times the things that affect us are more. They stem more from how we react to issues of Nigeria on social media. Why do you think the United States is clamping down on Nigerians coming into the US and the UK? Because Nigerians are everywhere saying, "Oh, don't come to the UK," or "You come to the UK." Nigerians are always saying things that will discredit this country. We are not patriotic people. Unfortunately, sir, we are not. Our leaders are bad. But like I asked earlier, who makes up the leadership? It's the people. Democracy, government for what? For the people. By what? The people. So we should start, tweaking our mindset. America is corrupt. There's a lot of corruption going on in America, but you would hardly find an American speak negative things about America. Why so? Because there's a mindset that this country is great and the people are great and they're respected. Nigerians are not respected abroad, at the airports, because we don't even respect ourselves. Thank you very much, Fina.
Okay. All right. Now, the thing I have to say is, when you're talking about democracy, government of the people, by the people, and for the people, some persons will tell you that is not what we have here in Nigeria, sorry to say. And then they'll also point out to so many other things they will call the indices why they wake up to make this postulation. If you check how Nigerians actually have been treated for some time now, you understand that it's more like selected few, actually. It's no longer the people now who decide who rules them. It's more like some persons who manage to be at the helm of affairs are recycling themselves to actually continue to be there, thereby ruling out the people who should actually contribute to whether the government will be good or not. That is one. And you can say Nigerians are this, Nigerians are that. But take it to the north, where we have people sleeping in the bushes. Take you to Ebonyi State, for example, where the governor went there to give people 1.1 million naira, people that have lost their loved ones, and say, this is it, find a way to make peace with people who are destroying your crops, and then you want to defend yourself. Take it also to, to the military space, where we have the CDS telling Nigerians that because of the portfolio of the people who have been tagged to be financiers of terrorism in Nigeria, we will not be able to pull them down, to be a way people actually are reacting. Bring it back again to a country where we're being told that, we are about or we are near bankruptcy, and then we're able to buy $150 million worth of aircraft. Check the Escalade. Just suppose that with the Yacht. Nigerians are actually suffering. Governors are living in high. When I talk about a particular governor in Nigeria, then that says,
we know all this.
No, we don't. No, I don't think we actually understand.
These things are bad.
I don't think we understand.
The point of it is that why is it? Is it because of these things that you have listed? Is that the reason why outsiders dislike Nigeria?
Yes.
Now let's break this down bit by bit. Okay, in a country whereby it's obvious, it's glaring that if you manage to be within the political space, you are untouchable. How do you expect people actually to react to it? In a station whereby a governor who has been accused of milking the people is dancing on social media.
The survey is not about Nigerians disliking Nigerians. It is about outsiders disliking Nigerians.
Outsiders are watching what is happening in Nigeria.
So the point of it, no, that is not even enough reason for them to dislike us. So, I think from what Moses raised, the angle Moses raised, I think it's an issue of perception and reality.
So what do you call a country whereby there's nobody
how
actually...
people perceive us, is that what we are? If probably the survey was conducted and you ask South Africans, why do you dislike Nigerians so much?
Exactly what I was going to say.
No, and they dislike, you ask South Africans, why do you dislike Nigerians so much? And South Africans will tell you, they come here, they do drugs. They come here, they get into kidnapping. They
don't even do drugs as much as South Africans themselves, but they will tell you they come here and they take our women.
South Africans
and all of that.
They come here, they take our jobs.
And all of that.
That's
so
it.
Between perception and reality, what is it? They go to Ghana recently. Ghanaians are accusing them of kidnapping their children for rituals. They do drugs. They get into their markets, take their women, take their businesses and all of that. They get into Togo, Cote d'Ivoire and all of the same things. Those things, are they mere perception or reality?
Now, the
Those are the questions that we should
they're not
answer.
reality, because you cannot blame...
No, Fina, these things are reality.
No, they're not reality. I beg to disagree, because if you go to South Africa for once,
Fina,
and then you check...
for or against? Because I
am a realist. I'm this person and I'm always straightforward.
Okay.
Now, I don't think there's a way we can wake up and take out the governance of Nigeria from this particular statistics being laid out by world population to the reality of life that Nigerians are facing and to how Nigerians react. If Nigeria as a nation is good, people will not be moving in droves to other places.
If you're talking about governance, Nigeria is the only country in Africa that took the fourth step.
That's what we're saying.
The governance of Somalia, is it better than that of Nigeria?
Now, how bad now can you tell the people in Somalia, or how bad do you think the people or the government of Somalia is suppressing the people who are living there? Imagine a hunter. Imagine a hunter-led organization. Check Burkina Faso. Wait, let's break it down.
It's not about governance. It's about the attitude of your people outside their shores.
Take it back to where we have military leaders now. Take it to Burkina Faso.
The survey is not even about attitude of people outside. It's about perception of countries about Nigeria. The survey, like I said, there was no methodology. What are the parameters with which that survey was conducted? All right. None was revealed when I visited the website. Okay. All right. So it's not even about how Nigerians react, how Nigerians act abroad, because we didn't hear that they visited countries that have a large population of Nigerians and interview them based on how they feel about the Nigerians amongst them. No, just a survey was put out there. And Nigerians are reacting, the government is bad, Nigeria is bad. If you asked if this survey had South Africa in there, how do you think South Africans would react?
Okay, so
South Africans will tell you
that their government is good when it is bad.
South Africans will tell you, look, leave us alone. In fact, don't come to our country if you think we are bad. Don't visit us.
No, I'm happy,
Stay
that,
and do
I'm
your
happy
business.
that you are boxing yourself in.
I'm not
Because,
boxing myself
no,
in.
because you say that Nigerians, that we make up the government, that we don't hold our leaders to account. So
My
should we
point,
start
the point I'm trying to make is that Nigerians always say negative things about
We
Nigeria.
don't progress.
Nigerians will not
negative
rise.
things
We
about
don't progress.
Nigeria.
We cannot progress in
So we
error.
see negative things about Nigeria.
Saying
When we
good
see
thing about
negative
Nigeria
things,
is progressing in
Nigerians
error.
are good people. When we see negative things, we see evil, we say evil.
We say it. We
The
don't
question I
progress in
asked
error.
earlier, who makes up the government? When people,
No, we have a
people on
leadership.
social media.
We have a leadership.
The people on social media, my reaction, like I said, if you guys actually heard me, I said my grouse is with the reaction of Nigerians on social media. That was how I
You said it's
started.
What they react to is what they
It's
see.
What are they reacting to?
What they see.
The government. Who makes up the
Insecurity,
government?
No, the government is different from the
corruption,
people.
occupation.
You can say,
The people,
and
the
that-
reactions on social media
That is
was
their
based
own
on
way.
government.
No, that is
Nigerians
their own way
blaming
of
the
holding-
government
that is their
for
own
this
way of-
perception.
Sorry, that is their own way of holding the leadership to account. They can't do more.
I think Nigeria
They
should
can do
better.
a whole lot more.
Nigeria should
We
wake
all-
up and
we
do
all-
better.
we all-
Like
can-
pour into the streets and all of
Oh,
that.
of
We poured
course
into
not.
the
Of
streets.
course
and,
not.
I'm
not even
Nigeria
asking
as
for
a
that.
nation should actually sit back and reorganize themselves and understand that this is more like a slap.
We will, and
on
Nigeria
their
will
faces.
rise.
Okay.
Imagine,
Nigeria will
imagine
rise
the
again.
giant of Africa
I think
being
we
put
need-
into
I
that
think we
list,
need to move
where we
on.
have
Do you
Fontaine
believe
others.
Nigeria will rise again?
It depends on who is asking and where it's coming from,
No,
and
I'm
who is
asking.
willing to do it.
I'm asking if you believe Nigeria
That's-
will rise.
with the way things are going now.
Do you believe Nigeria will rise?
I'll review that later.
I won't ask you.
You won't ask me because you know my position.
Do you believe? Okay, I'm asking you now.
With cautious optimism, because the leadership does not give us the hope that Nigeria will rise. Even
What
when,
if the
even when
people
the
decide
mountain.
to change the leadership?
Sorry.
If the people can change the leadership, and they actually change the leadership, will
From
Nigeria
what I
rise?
am seeing, from what is on ground now, the people are not willing to change the leadership.
Okay. All right then. So let's move on.
Away from that,
Yes.
anyway, we'll still continue with the debate after the show. I mean, the constitution amendment process in Nigeria, yes, more, we will do it. The chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, that's ICPC, Musa Aliyu, has advocated the inclusion of specific deadlines for top corruption cases involving politicians and prominent persons. The senior advocate, who was a guest on a Monitor television program, said corruption cases should not be open-ended, but have definite deadlines for diligent prosecution and closure. Expanding on the need for constitutional reform, Aliyu said corruption trials, could drag on for more than a decade without definite timeline. This is actually one of the things that we'll have to talk about also and look at it, because before now, some persons will blame, especially when it has to do with the trial of top political officers, that before now they had immunity clause covering them and every other thing, But when you check out how some of the politicians actually are behaving, it's more like some of them are making it look like, it's their right, because of the position they must have occupied or another. They will think they can influence everything, even their trial, even the judgment, and a whole lot more. And it does not really speak well. But if you ask me, I will say yes. This particular call from Aliyu is a good one, because we need to find a way to have a deadline to concluding all, especially top political cases that have to do with corruption. But also, if we actually happen to run into or rush into finding a way because of the deadline that we're having, I think we can also, this can actually lead to losing out some important facts. Some person might try to cover up the spaces for them not to be able to be caught, and some of them actually will still try to distort truth or things that can lead to them being apprehended. But I think there was a time I had a particular case run into this country for like over 15 years. Inconclusively, and we're yet to nab this person. And it doesn't really speak well of us. If we're ready to fight corruption, I for one, as a Nigerian, I believe it's time for us to see people in prison, especially those persons that have evidence against, like someone that paid children's school fees and the school had to return the money back to the state. That's actually a clear evidence to say, okay, this person actually did this, and the person shouldn't be dancing on social media and making it look like Nigeria actually is a joke, but it should be behind bars where question actually should be answered and every other thing. But let's see how they will listen to this anyway.
I think the point of this is that the man in question, Aliyu, I understand, is the senior advocate of Nigeria, and he's in charge of ICPC. Probably he has seen some of the barriers, some of the bottlenecks, in prosecuting criminal charges against public officers and all of that, crime-related cases. Making it open-ended as it is now, it's a big problem. But the big question that I want to ask is is it possible to set a timeline? Fina did say that if you set a timeline, are you able to do due diligence in the prosecution process? Is it going to be fair? The trial, is it going to be free and fair? Because there are some times that you need, enough time to do investigations and all of that. Is it going to be free and fair? So it speaks to our jurisprudence, our criminal legal system. A lot of people have been asking for a reform of the justice system, criminal justice system in Nigeria. Probably, I'm not a lawyer, but I understand, speaking from the point of a layman, if you ask me, if the government, if the judiciary, if they are intentional in fighting corruption, they don't need to put this clause in the constitution. They can do it. Because if you look at some of the cases is that the judges themselves, the lawyers themselves, technically, try to drag it so that in the course of that prosecution, some fine elements, the final points of the case is lost. Fina said something about a particular case that lasted for more than 12 years. I think that of my former governor, OUK, lasted for more than 12 years. At the end of the day, they discovered that the man that sentenced him didn't even have the right to sentence him because he had been moved from the High Court to an appeal court, and he came from appeal court to deliver judgment in a High Court. So when Oji appealed, and they said, no, you didn't have the local standard, to sit on that case. So does it look like the judiciary that they didn't know all of this? So if they are intentional in fighting corruption, they know how to get about it. There was a time the chief CJN said, look, we are going to deal with lawyers, who rely on technicalities to end cases or to prolong cases. That was a good thing, but do we always walk the talk? We say a lot. Talk is cheap, but action is very difficult. Oh, well, that's it for me. But like I said, my payoff line here is that if the government, judiciary, if they are intentional in fighting corruption, they don't have to do all of this. They know what to do.
I align my thoughts with yours. If they are intentional, of course, cases will be resolved in record time, and awaiting trial inmates will be, cases in general, will be, resolved in record time, and we'll have lesser people crowding our correctional centers. And in fact, political individuals who are undergoing investigation will not be bragging around, walking around like nothing is wrong, which of course puts this country in a bad light and takes us back to my first conversation. Somebody sent me a video on Sunday. Was it Sunday? Oh, yes. Sent me a video on Sunday. Now that video showed Yahaya Bello, former governor of Kogi State. You saw it?
Yes, I saw it.
Okay.
Which of the videos? Because there are like 2 or 3.
Okay, the one he was addressing the man that won the by-elections into the State House of Assembly in Kogi State.
Where people had to sit down and
he was holding his ear. He was telling the individual, and the people there were listening too.
The House of Assembly members
go there and obey, work with the leadership of the assembly, even if you don't understand. If we have that video, let's put it up there. It's concerning that this individual has a pending corruption case against him, and he's still basically being seen as a mentor. He's addressing people. I think the video is up now. Let's.
You are going in there now. Go and cooperate with the Speaker, other members of the House of Assembly of Kogi State, and be part of those that will support Governor Ahmed Usman Ododo. Are you getting my point? In everything that comes to the Assembly, everything. Even if you don't understand. Thank you. See that?
Everything, an emphasis on everything that comes to the assembly. And he points to probably the same kind of pep talk that other assembly members, maybe in the National Assembly, also get when especially those that were sponsored to the National Assembly. I'm sure they get this kind of pep talk as well. It's just support everything that the executive brings.
Yes,
everything. Even if you don't understand it.
Even if you don't see them do it,
Yes.
get this kind of pep talk. Their action on the floor of the National Assembly shows when somebody walks in, on your mandate we shall stand. What does that tell you? It tells you that they have been corralled, into like, this is what you have to do. So you have to stand on this mandate, whether you like the mandate or you don't like it.
And that was why a governor said, for the people that are not supporting him and his move, be it good or bad thing, and they are receiving
you talked
pay,
about the other videos of, so I was confused when you talked about the video trending. There is one where he was gymming.
Where he was dancing.
There's dancing. Then there's another one where he was with full escort, when he came out with his bulletproof, his billion naira bulletproof.
Why wouldn't people want to continue to steal when they see this kind of show?
And when they see this kind of things and talk about it, does that translate to being unpatriotic? I'm asking a question.
It's time for us to go to the papers.
Okay.
You would want to answer that, right?
No, I am not going to answer because I know what he's trying to do. Oh well, let's get to the papers now very quickly. We have the dailies with us. I think I have a few here, so let me just run to it. We do have from the New Telegraph. These are the headlines, the window headlines here. Okay, the headline at the top: FAC allocation money transfer levy up 93.2% to end to 221.4 billion naira. And then 2024, rise in FX, new borrowings, others pushed debt to GDP to 52.25%. And window headlines: Lagos targets $1 billion income from SMEs. Yeah. Graduates 253 trade ambassadors. Insecurity, ADC demands state of emergency in Katsina. Zamfara suspends Abia chair over alleged misconduct. And also, report any security threat in your area quickly. Ladoja tells family heads. Bales. Ipman moves to enforce fuel pump integrity at filling stations. And there you have, and then the big story on the cover page of New Telegraph. 2027, zoning tops agenda as PDP holds crunch neck meeting. Riders, next NWC must be representative, proactive. Damagum. Party will give APC a run for its money. Moro, vote buying, red flag, ahead 2027. Army neutralizes 15 terrorists, rescues 30 victims in nationwide operations. Allow us to fight crime in Bakassi. Cross River youths tell O2. Fake products causing most deaths in our communities, says Koku Obiyai. And also another big story there. NLC to Ramfac. Don't review political office holders' salaries now, says it will increase politicians' desperation to win at all costs. Once benchmark for proposed review made public. Benue Assembly suspended lawmaker sworn in as Speaker. Dajo resigns. And then the bottom strip there. Too many Carol. Okay, I'll leave that one out. That's according to a study.
All right.
Leave that one out.
Up next is the Guardian newspaper, and Jos Benedi masthead, U.S. Obasanjo flay judiciary over perceived graft. RFI opposition leaders collapsed Kaduna SDP into ADC. NLNG seals pact with gas suppliers to aid production expansion. And we have the banner headline to be Malema, Africans' future dependent on political economy in Nigeria, South Africa. The story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. And we have the pictorial there from the opening of the NBA agency that happened yesterday. And beneath that pictorial, coalition ADC warned of looming security collapse, urged Tinubu to act. And then PCL deducts 235.6 billion naira in 7 months for oil search in North Frontier basins. FG, 1 trillion naira needed yearly to sustain school feeding program. Interesting. Yoruba elders appeal to Oni Alaafin to end rape. Then we have other headlines there to be NMA Lagos strengthened solidarity strike over unpaid salaries, welfare. Benue Speaker resigns 48 hours after suspending 4 lawmakers. Ramfak on the fire over upward review of politicians' remuneration. Those are the stories you'll find on the cover page of the Guardian newspaper today.
Okay, let's quickly run through the Vanguard newspaper. Yuletide, 131% surge in airfares to southeast, south-south, sparks passengers' outcry. The window headlines: insecurity. Concerned stakeholders decry killing of 10,217 persons in just 2 years. Gridlock. Lagos halts work on Ogudu Ifako Bridge. NBA conference. Sultan Mba Malema task lawyers on justice, protection of poor. Now the big story. Economy. Industrialization in jeopardy as agric manufacturing sink. As services sector takes driving seat. Manufacturing loses 1.2 trillion naira in 5 years. That's according to a report. FDI plummets amid waning investors' confidence. Rebasing exposes sector's structural weaknesses. Man. Nigeria struggling with deindustrialization, says NESG, that's Nigerian Economic Summit Group. Manufacturing should contribute 40% to GDP. EPO. Labour tackles federal government over proposed pay rise for political office holders. Intrigues as Benue Assembly elects new speaker. Falano to EFCC. Return recover 32.7 billion naira. $445,000 loot to NSIPA. ADC to Tinubu declares state of emergency in Katsina, Zamfara over insecurity. More stories from the Vanguard newspaper. Imported steel products drain over $4 billion foreign exchange annually. That's according to the minister. Governor Abdul Razak declares war on kidnappers, bandits, after deadly attack. And that's it from the Vanguard newspaper. And that's how far we can go on newspaper headlines. Moses and I will return at 10 o'clock for extended review of newspaper headlines and other stories. Now we'll go for a short break, and when we return, Atiku vows to support anyone who emerges ADC candidate as Ohaneze pledges no Igbo person will contest against Tinubu in 2027. That's huge. Join us again.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Well, start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP This Morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Well, start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP This Morning, 8 a.m., Monday through Friday.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The issues on Voice of the People television. Don't just react, understand. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Voice of the People television awuchiela o onye nụ ya ka ọrụ ibe ya. Ị chọrọ ịmata akụkọ ndị gbara n'akwụkwọ akụkọ dị iche iche n'ala anyị kwa ụbọchị. Ị chọrọ ịmata ka o si afịatụ na ndọrọndọrọ ọchịchị, agụmakwụkwọ, azụmahịa, ime njem, ọbụladị egwuregwu. Mgbasonyere anyị n'oge ndị Igbo na Voice of the People television. Anyị nwere ndị ọbịa bụ ọkachamara bụkwa ndị ga-enye aka tapịa isiokwu ndị anyị jiri bịa kwa ụbọchị. Anyị ga-eji ka o siri gbaa n'akwụkwọ akụkọ dị iche iche wee malite tupu anyị akọzie n'uju n'ubi onye anyị bịara na nke ya.
Ibamuru nzem ọzọ kedukosi aga ya gaziere onye ukwu ma gaziere onye nta.
Mkparịta ụka tọrọ atọ ka anyị ga-ewetara gị bụkwa nke ga-eme ka ị mata ka ihe si aga n'ala anyị bụ Naịjirịa ọbụladị na mba ofesi. Oge ndị Igbo na Voice of the People television ga na-abịara gị site n'ụbọchị Mọnde ruo Fraịde na SLTV Channel 264. Ekwekwala ka akọrọ gị ya akọrọ. Chetakwa na ọ bụ na SLTV Channel 264 ka ị ga-ekiri Voice of the People television. Voice of the People television. Ugbu a ị nwere karịa olu.
Is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being of an individual. It's the fundamental right of everyone to enjoy the highest attainable standard of health without distinction of race, religion, or political belief.
Thanks for joining us again. Now, former Vice President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar has declared that he will back anyone who emerges winner of the African Democratic Congress ADC primary in 2026. Atiku said it would not matter whether he wins the party's ticket or not. Well, he pointed out that whoever wins the party's primary would be representative of all Nigerians in the election. Meanwhile, an Apex Igbo socio-cultural group, Ohaneze Ndigbo, has declared that no Igbo candidate will contest the 2027 presidential election against incumbent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. The group said the earliest realistic opportunity for the Southeast to produce a president is 2035, not 2027. In a statement issued in Abakaleke and signed by the Deputy President General of the Ohaneze Ndigbo faction, Maazio Okechukwu Isiguzoro, and the national spokesman, Thompson Ohia, the group revealed that the decision followed a crucial meeting with Southeast political leaders, Imiobi and Nzokomuna. Ohaneze stressed that the most practical platform for an Igbo president lies within the All Progressives Congress, APC, in 2035, should the zoning formula be reviewed. Now, further, they further identified the Minister of Works, Senator David Umahi, as the most outstanding Igbo candidate with the strongest chance of emerging president within the opportunity, when the opportunity arises. Oh well, we do have with us in the house Barrister Darlington Agumwo, and virtually we have Comrade Justice Etietie, who is a public affairs commentator. He will be joining the conversation as we proceed. Well, he's also the Director of Strategies and Mobilization at those civil society organizations. But in the meantime, well, from Our Port Harcourt outstation also will be speaking with Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama, a socio-political commentator and an advocate of good governance. But in the meantime, we'll stay with Barrister Darlington, who's with us in the studio. Barrister Darlington, good morning to you. Welcome.
It's my pleasure.
A good day it is. But
yeah,
let's start. Let me start from Atiku's statement, and then we'll go into what the faction, the Isuguzoro faction of Ohaneze Ndigbo is saying. The statement by Atiku that, look, he will support whoever emerges. Doesn't that point to the fact that he intends to even contest, the primaries? And going by his antecedents, some Nigerians will say Atiku always wins the primaries in parties that he's largely part of. What do you make of that statement? Is that a go-ahead for other members who are also vying for the ADC's ticket come 2026 as against 2027?
In fact, I expected him to add the most important caveat. If the primaries are free and fair, that is what I expected him to add to that thing he said. If the primaries are free and fair, I will support any candidate. And when he says something like that, they will now watch out. Because if the primaries are tainted with money, induced with money, then what is free and fair there? What is free and fair there? He's saying this thing because he's sure he will get the ticket. He is very, very sure. That's why he said it.
But Barrister, he said something that, he's not interested, he's not desperate, in going or becoming the president of Nigeria. His major aim is securing a better Nigeria, than being the president. So don't you think that he is going to actually leave the talk by making sure he supports whoever person the people truly are supporting?
That statement is a political statement. Or can I even say that he's speaking from both sides of his mouth? A newspaper this morning replied him. You know this Guardian or Vanguard cartoon? Okay. He said, Atiku said that he's not desperate to be Nigerian president. The Guardian cartoon now said, then why are you jumping from one party to the other? Is that not the answer to the question? If you are not desperate, you will have stayed one place now. Or even go and sit down when you fail in one. But you are moving from one party to the other. I mean, why are you not telling us that you are not desperate? This thing doesn't add up. It doesn't. When you see a desperate man, you will see his actions and reactions. You will see his statements. So Atiku cannot tell us that.
Are you saying he's not going to secure the better fate of Nigeria? Is that what you're saying, Barrister Darlington?
Everybody has always been telling us he will be the best president. With what Tinubu have done to us, it will be very difficult for me to even listen to these people. Except one man who have not tried it, and that is Obi. It is Obi that can tell us today because we know his antecedents. We know his background. We know his character. Okay. It's an Obi that will tell us that he's not here we cannot listen to him. Good. Not all these other people.
Barrister, let's finish. We'll talk a bit about Obi, but let me dwell with our article now with you. You are very sure, you are cocksure 100% that Atiku is of the belief that he is going to secure the ticket if they go for primaries. And you say that, look, he should have put a caveat that
if it's free and fair,
it should be free and fair, transparent, Now, let's go back. Atiku has always been securing tickets,
with money.
With money. Now, in 2015, right? In 2015, when he left to another party, I can't recall the party he went to now. A lot of governors from the northeast where he comes from left with him. Members of the National Assembly, senators and all of that followed him. And he lost the elections. I can't recall whether he got the ticket or not, but he wasn't on the ballot. Now, this is 2023. And you are very sure. So this is 2025, and you are sure that Atiku is saying this because he's going to get the ticket. He resigned from his party PDP a few weeks ago, up to just about a month or so. His governor didn't join him. His senator didn't join him. Members of the House of Rep didn't join him. Members of the House of Assembly didn't join him. Do you still credit Atiku with that level of political value, with electoral value, to the extent that if he goes to the primary and with what is happening in the ADC, now he is going to win the elections, even with his deep pockets? And does Atiku have that kind of deep pocket, and that he's unable to fund the PDP, take it from yes of Wike, but he ran away from the PDP? What gives you the impression that he still has that deep pocket? The other time he cried out, the government has destroyed my businesses and all of that. What more can they do for me? I want you to put all of these things together and tell us whether in reality you think that Atiku will actually win the primaries if they go for primaries without a consensus.
The difference between other parties that he went to is because this particular ADC, Atiku midwifed it. He sponsored it. He gathered these other people into ADC. That is a fact. So, are you telling me that all these other people, the big wigs that came from PDP and other parties, they are going to disregard him in the primaries? The answer is capital no.
Barrister, he was vice president. He was a founding member of the People's Democratic Party. He served as vice president between 1999 and 2007. Despite all of that, he went to the primaries and he lost to Goodluck Jonathan.
He never midwife. I mean, Jonathan is an incumbent now. He never midwife PDP now.
No, when you say that he midwifed ADC,
yes,
what do you mean by that?
Yes, I'm telling you, it's a fact. He was not there. He was never the original founder of PDP.
Okay.
He wasn't. It was the group of 34 led by Ekweme. So, Jonathan was an incumbent.
Okay.
So how would he have defeated him? It's not possible.
What is the difference when you
the difference now is that
ADC
now, Atiku left PDP to form ADC. That is to
sorry, Barrister, he didn't form ADC.
To bring the coalition together.
It is not a coalition yet.
Hold on. These other people that joined ADC, they came at the behest of Atiku. It was Atiku that called them.
Are you saying the likes of Peter Obi also went to ADC or aligned with ADC just because Atiku mentioned him or called him to join the coalition?
Yes, he said he has been there. He was there from the beginning. They have been talking for 18 months. So Atiku brought them. I remember when Obi went there for breakfast meeting and all that in his house. So they were talking. It was Atiku. All along, Atiku midwife this coming together of ADC people. It was Atiku. And so I feel that he will have a leverage on all these people like David Mark and all that. So you can't take it away from him. It's not possible. So that's the difference.
All right.
That's the difference. But look, whether he will get it or not, Atiku should realize that the popular view of Nigerians is Peter Obi. That he should give way for Peter Obi. If you now want to just suppose one man is talking about, or Haneze man is talking about, you will not see that permutation he's talking about 2035.
We'll get to that.
It's not possible.
Barrister, thank you very much. Let's go to one of our outstations now, where we have Comrade Justice Atiku joining the conversation. Comrade, good morning to you. Well, we're trying to establish communication with you to be sure that you can hear us and we can hear you too. But as it is, we're yet to establish communication. But if you can hear me, if you can, I would like for you to react to the statement made by Atiku Abubakar that, look, he will support whoever. And some Nigerians are saying this is a pointer that it wouldn't be an easy race for other contenders within the ADC. As Atiku is, known for winning primaries within parties. And how will this play out for the likes of Peter Obi, who is, of course, seeking to run under a political party, and it seems to have pitched one leg, as it were, within the ADC? You might need to unmute your microphone so we can hear you.
I can't hear you.
Oh, you can't hear me because I just heard you now. Can you hear me?
Audio is very, very faint.
All right, we'll have our engineers fix that, and then we'll get back to Comrade Justice Itietie, who is joining us virtually. We'll fix that and get back to him. Barrister Darlington, yes. Now let's talk about what is supposed to be a support base for Peter Obi, who's from the southeastern part of Nigeria, and the Ohaneze, that faction of Ohaneze, Indigo, saying for 2027, nah, it's a no-no. Like no Igbo person will contest against President Tinubu. How patriotic would you say that statement is, especially seeing that?
I thank God you called him a faction of Ohaneze. So he's not recognized. In fact, he's the yes man for Tinubu and APC. Meanwhile, he claimed to be an Ohaneze.
Do you think that's what it is, or you don't think he's speaking for another larger group of people?
No,
because he does represent.
It's not possible.
There are other people within his faction.
As long as it's a faction, forget it. As long as the faction, forget it. And that is what these people do. Remember when Afenifere was, together. Padebanjo, who happened to be their leader, did not agree with Tinubu. And what did Tinubu do? He entered into that group and divided them into two. Fashoranti, who had gone on retirement.
Tinubu entered into the group. Was he ever a member of the group?
No, he entered. No.
What do you mean by he entered?
He was never. In fact, he never believed in Afenifere.
So what do you mean by he entered? Did he become a member?
Yes, he went into them. Now, I'm coming now. Listen to me. I said the Padebanjo, who was the leader of that group before he died, did not agree with Tinubu because he told him, no, leave this thing for the Igbos. It's the turn of the Igbos. But Tinubu, because he didn't want to listen, what did he do? He now entered into that group and divided them. He went to Fashoranti, who had gone on retirement. Are you getting me now? You left the leader and you went to somebody who had left the group. You now went to resuscitate him, and brought him back, and there was what? A division among them. So he was now working with Fashoranti until Padebanjo died. So he does this thing, we know. It's their modus operandi.
So if you think
why is he not talking to Mbata, who is the Ohaneze chieftain? Why is he not talking? Why is he not speaking like this? Tell me. Are you telling me that Isugu is acting on his own? Somebody is inducing him.
Barrister, now if you talk about Isuguzoro and the faction that he belongs to and all that, are you in other words saying that the muzzle power of political leaders that he mentioned who are sponsoring and supporting this particular move, Imobi and Nzoko Muna, saying that they are the ones who have actually come up with this particular, let's say statement to show that by 2035, not even 2031, 2035 is when any member of the APC, recall that they also made mention of APC, and they talked about Dave Umahi, who happens to be the Minister of Work now, to be the only qualified Igbo man to be able to take the ticket from APC.
This Isuguzo is very good at dropping names. Who is he to be talking of Imobi and all that? Who is he? It's not even it's a non-issue. It's a non-starter. Why is he not talking about the real Ohaneze chieftain that was people gathered to elect? You mean Mbata will be there when Isiguzo will be talking about all this? It's not possible. I am telling you, in days to come, they will disown him.
But we've not seen any. Okay, saying in days to come.
Yes, in days to come, they will disown him. I'm not sure they have had him. I'm not sure. If they hear him, they will distance themselves from him. It's not possible. They look at what he say, to tell you how this man have been, messing up himself and not the Igbos. You said we don't have a chance until 2035. Now listen. If Tinubu should go for 2027, end up in 2031, who will now do from 31 to 35 before the Igbos come? Who? If the South will finish, that's under Tinubu, and it goes to the North. So the North will now do 4 years and hand over to the Igbos again. Is that what is it possible? You can see. You can see that he missed it big time.
Now, Barrister, the meeting was held somewhere in Abakaliki. Abakaliki is in a Benue state.
It was Dave Umahi that organized it.
Allow me to land on my question.
I don't want you to land the wrong place. That's what I'm just guiding you.
Okay, what gives you the impression that it is Dave Umahi?
Because the Bata was not there. The Ohaneze chieftain was not there. The people that supposed to, they were not there. That's why they were singing the praises of Dave Umahi. Before now, Dave Umahi have already said it. That, Igbo should contest. And if the time comes, he's the only one. So when such a thing is organized in the state, what do you expect?
It wasn't a coincidence.
It wasn't. It was
so you think that the same meeting couldn't have held somewhere in Imo State or Abia State, and they will still endorse a Dave
Umahi will not go because he knows his position in Igbo land today from what he has done so far. He can only go for a meeting organized in his state when it comes to Ohaneze. Are you telling me? Why was it organized in his state?
What has he done?
Sorry?
What has he done?
Dave Umahi.
Yes, please.
Who have been demarcating the Igbos. Who have been causing us a lot of problems because he's serving under Tinubu.
How do you mean, Barrister?
What do I mean? Look at how he has been praising Tinubu. Meanwhile, we have not seen one single thing Tinubu has done for the Igbos. Nnamdi Kanu is still in detention. Yet Dave Umahi keep praising him that we should be singing the praises of Tinubu from morning till night every day. How can a man be talking like that to his own people that he knows that they are suffering? Look at insecurity in the southeast. Dave Umahi didn't see all these things, Abi. You saw what Amnesty International said about killings in the southeast, extrajudicial killing. Did Dave Umahi mention anything? The Fulani that have taken over, including his own state, Ebonyi, he didn't see anything wrong in all those things, Abi. He want to become president. Meanwhile, with all this, he said we should be clapping for Tinubu. For doing what? He did not tell us. For doing what? He did not tell us.
But Barrister, under Dave Umahi, we have the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway that is ongoing. There is another one, the Lagos-Calabar.
How does that benefit the Igbos?
Barrister, I'm coming.
Barrister, please hold
on. There is a Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway that crisscrosses 9 states of the Federation. Southeast is not in. There's another one, Badagry to Sokoto. You know, as the crow flies, you know how long it is. No Southeast state is involved. Now, there's a proposed Lagos-Abuja highway. And all of these things are taking place under the watch of a Dave Umahi. Do you think that the Igbo nation will close their eyes and vote for somebody like that in 2035?
You have answered my question. You see, at times I like you. I like you. You answer your own question. So with all this, my question is, how did all this benefit the what? The Igbo or Southeast?
Yeah, but you heard Ohaneze saying that he's the only man that is fit for the job.
Please don't mention. No, it's not. Is this Guzo? I don't know where he formed his own Ohaneze. Is this Guzo, for God's sake? Don't say Ohaneze. As long as Mbata is not in the picture, forget it. I'm telling you. Thank God you mentioned faction. How do you leave the main group, the main leadership of the group, and you are talking to a faction who want to collect money from his paymasters?
Barrister, with such move and with such person, and then nobody actually is saying anything against him. No Ohaneze group is coming up to say, we don't know this person. And, he's still parading around or moving around with the Ohaneze Ndibo as, a title attached to his statement and all that. What then do you think this will actually do to the Southeasterners or the Igbo man who actually is clamoring and hoping that the number one position might get to that region?
Thank God you said that they have ignored him. When somebody wants to make a nuisance of himself, you want to join issues with him. He's
using Ohaneze Ndibo. He's using Ohaneze Ndibo, the apex sociocultural group of the Igbos.
When the chiefs are down, we know who is Ohaneze. He is making money from his paymasters. Like all this in the organizing and talking. But the people he's talking to, don't you think that they are making a fool of him because let him call a meeting of Ohaneze Ndibo. Let him call a meeting of Igbo people. Let me see how many people will come. This was just organized in Ebonyi, sponsored by Dave Umahi. So, how is anybody's interest there? Yeah, he's just frolicking on himself now. Maybe tomorrow now they will call him to Lagos. He will now make another press release and all that. So, I mean, who is behind him? Mention anybody in Igbo land that is behind this Guzo. I mean, people who matter. So these are the things they do. They divide us. Then they use the other people who are against our interests.
All right, let's try to re-establish contact with our guest from Asaba, Comrade Justice Itietie. Comrade, if you can hear me, please do react to the question asked earlier.
I can hear you. Go ahead.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I do believe you've been following the conversation, even though we're coasting home now for this conversation. Let's have your take on the statement made by Atiku Abubakar and the perception that he will always have his way when it comes to primaries in political parties. How will this play out for other contenders, others seeking the presidential ticket from the ADC? And then you can also react to the Ohades and Igbo's factional statement there. Go ahead, please.
Good morning, Nigerians. Let me make a correction. I'm speaking from Benin City, not Asaba.
Okay.
Benin City. Then, concerning the statement of Atiku Abubakar, the former vice president, I don't know if you can hear me. Hello? Okay. Concerning the statement of the former vice president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, that he will step down if someone else gets the ticket. I think it's a nice statement coming from a man we all know does not stay in one party. Whenever he loses the ticket, he moves. Even when he gets the ticket and he fails to win the general election, he moves. I think maybe age has made him view things from a different perspective. And I think maybe now he has seen it all and is more experienced. And if he loses, but the problem is that will Atiku lose any primaries he goes for? I think he has only lost once in APC. He lost to President Muhammad Buhari, late president. He has only lost once, and when he lost, he stayed for some time, he moved. That is typical of Atiku Abubakar. If he will actually keep to his word, and will he lose the ticket? The ticket of SDP or so, the coalition is for Atiku. Atiku has the first right of refusal. That is why people like Peter Obi, with one leg in the coalition, one leg in Labour. That is why people like Rotimi Amechi, he cannot match Atiku in any primary election. So Atiku has more than 80% of getting that party ticket. But if the forces in the coalition can actually pull him down, let us have a fresh person to run, I think maybe in 2027 election, we'll see a slight battle. But if Atiku remains, if he gets the ticket, it will be a walkover for the current president. Then concerning the statement of Ohanaeze Ndigbo, as the other guest said, he said it's factional. I don't know if it's factional. Normally, all our sociocultural groups in Nigeria are all factionals. Even the Afaniferi factional. Only the Northern Coalition that actually they've held themselves in one breath. You have a leader that speaks for them. But the fact remains that does this sociocultural organization have that clout to control a huge number of votes or to decide where the region vote for? I think if you check historically, they've not. Let me take you to UPU in Delta State, the Robo Progressive Union also. They actually did not adopt the current governor. If you check from Ibori time, they did not adopt Ibori as a candidate. They picked somebody else. They picked Ibro, I guess. If you go back to this current election, they didn't take Sheriff Obeyori. They took David Edevie. That's the man they adopted. But when the result came in, they lost. So we see that those ones are just to maybe gather some level of sympathy before the main election. Those sociocultural organization does not actually determine where the people votes goes to. or they don't control the regional votes. So for
All right, then. We seem to, well, he said quite a lot already, but we seem to have lost audio.
Hello?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Even if the other faction says, no, it is Peter Obi we adopt, that does not count. It is the people and the political gladiators on ground that matters. So this, both the one, the guest called the main faction and the one you call the factional, the fake faction, both of them, they are seeking for money. It is for the highest bidder. They don't have the interest of the people at heart. They don't have the interest of their region at heart. If they have, they should meet, they should strategize. Which person will favor the Eastern Zone? Okay, for now, they may never say anything. Let us wait. Let each party get their candidate. When they get their candidate, now look, okay, if Peter Obi gets for Labour, or he gets for ADC, or he gets for any other party, now okay, Peter Obi is our son. Can we support Obi? Does Obi have what it takes to win the general election? Because the election is not restricted to your region. Does Obi have what it takes to win the general election? Or are we going to just gamble on Obi? Okay, let us leave Obi. Let us go for the incumbent and try and see if we can negotiate that in the next 8 years or in the next 4 years, after this tenure, we will get our slot and other regions will support us. That is what they should be busy doing, not talking about adopting A or adopting B. They should meet, strategize, and look for what will benefit their region the most. Thank you.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Comrade Justice Tietie. Quite verbose there. Well, let's go to another conversation because we're out of time for the first conversation. Benue Speaker resigns after impeachment plot. Let's talk about this when we come back.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Good morning. It's the start of a beautiful day. Well, start your day right with a healthy dose of news, fun, and inspiration. Join us on VOP this morning for the latest news, trending topics, and uplifting stories to set your day on the right vibe. From news and current events to lifestyle and entertainment, you are covered.
VOP This Morning, 8 a.m. Monday through Friday.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe. Hunger no get religion.
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues on Voice of the People Television. Don't just react, understand. The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as they hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before. Carpets.
Glad to have you back. Still VOP this morning. The Speaker of the Benue State House of Assembly, Aondona Dajo, has resigned from the position in a handwritten letter dated 24th August 2025 and shared on his Facebook page. Caption, "Let there be peace." Dajo formally announced his resignation, stating that the decision was taken in good faith and in the best interest of the state. He thanked his colleagues for giving him the opportunity to serve as the first among equals and pledged to remain dedicated to his legislative duties and the representation of his constituency, Boko West State constituency. You will recall that the Benue House of Assembly had last week suspended 4 lawmakers for plotting Speaker Dajo's impeachment. But just yesterday, he decided to tender his resignation in person, handwritten one, stating that he wants peace to reign. But he didn't tell us if the people that were suspended actually have been recalled. We have with us, still from Benin, we have Comrade Justice Itiatia, who is a public affairs analyst, joined this conversation. And then from Port Harcourt, we'll be joined by Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iroyanama, who is a socio-political commentator and an advocate of good governance. Good morning, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iroyanama, if you can hear me. Good to have you join today's conversation. Comrade Itiatia, are you still there? Good morning.
I'm here. Good morning.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being part of this conversation. Let me start off with you, Comrade Tia. What do you have to say about this particular revelation or statement made by the Speaker of, or the former Speaker now of Benue State, saying that he tendered his resignation because he wants peace to reign after there were plots, for his impeachment and people were suspended? Help us actually work around this, and the fact that the governor of the state, Hassan Talia, also is denying having any hand or any say in the happenings in that house.
Okay, good morning, viewers, once again. I think the former speaker did the honorable thing, and it is quite highly commendable that he did what he did by resigning so that peace can reign. That's what most of our leaders should learn to do. To be a speaker, especially within the Houses of Assembly, the National House of Reps, Senate, to be a leader is not what to be a speaker or a Senate president or House of Rep speaker is not what your constituents elected you to do there. It is to go there and represent them. So if just to become the speaker or retaining your seat of speakership will actually bring chaos to the House, one, to bring issue of maybe the powers that be might suspend you and you won't give adequate representative to your people. I think the best thing to do is to throw in the towel. That's what the former speaker just did, and it's highly commendable. So leaders in Nigeria should learn this habit of let the people be the primary focus, not my personal wants or my personal needs. Now he might want to remain the speaker, but if he knows that retaining that speakership will actually affect his constituents, to affect the general peace of the state, it is good he resigns. Now we can't actually say if the governor was behind or not, but you remember the executive controls every other arms of government in Nigeria the way we practice what we practice now. The governor might have a hand. It might still be it is within the house that they have having rancors of who leads them. Was the former speaker leading them well? That is a key factor we need to know. Was the former speaker carrying them along, in quotes, carrying them along? Was the sharing formula, both appointments sharing formula or the monetary gain they derive from being members of the House? Does the speaker carry all of them along? These are factors that can actually affect if he remains as speaker or he goes out. These are factors that actually brew crisis within the state houses of assembly, not only Benue. All other states of assembly have their challenges. One, we saw a video of recent where the former governor of Kogi State was telling some of the members in the House of Assembly that go and work with the governor, go and work with the speaker, go and work with the deputy speaker. Now, leadership has a key role to play. Who are their leaders? If the former speaker is not doing the bidding of the apex leader of Benue State, be the governor or the Secretary of the Federal Government of Nigeria, is there crisis within? Because we know that there a little bit of crisis between the current Secretary to the Federal Government and the governor.
Exactly.
Is the speaker loyal to the?
Exactly where I was going to. I was waiting.
Secretary of Federal.
It's interesting that you brought us to this point.
These are factors that actually
can you hear me?
Comes to play in the House.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. It's interesting that you brought us to that point. I was just waiting to ask you that question. The influence of the SGF on the speaker that resigned, because there were reports that the secretary to the government of the federation was pressuring the speaker to impeach the governor, before his resignation. Let's talk about influence now. Those within the federal circles, federal government circle, and the influence they wield against the states that they come from. Let's talk a bit about that and how we can best approach or fix that.
It is very significant to see that people within the corridors of power in terms of the federal structure of Nigerian government tends to try and control the states they are coming from. But in the other way around, the state governors sometimes push those people that they know that they are very influential within their state, push them to the federal so that they won't be in touch with what happens at home. Then it's like a year or 2 years ago, the narrative is changing. The narrative is changing. Those in the federal level now wield a big influence in their state, wants to still control their state. If you talk about Minister of Federal Capital Territory, he wields a big influence in his states. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Go ahead, please.
He wields a big influence in his states. Now he has gone to federal. He's just the immediate past governor. He has gone to federal. Does he still have? He has the power because he has a strong connect to the president. They were able to play the politics that they played, and it's still relevant today. His foot soldiers are still relevant today in Rivers State. Now let's go back to Benue State. Does Akume have that clout in his state? He was the political, even when he was out of government, when PDP was there, when he was out of government, he still wielded a level of interest, wielded a level of power in his state. That was why he could install this current governor. And now, within 2 years, crisis broke out between them. Now, he was still powerful because he was still very, very instrumental to the speaker, the immediate past speaker. Now, can he influence the speaker to impeach the governor? That's a big question. Because it is not just the speaker that has the control of all the members of the House of Assembly.
All right, beautiful.
Now we have, I don't know how many members Benue State have in the House of Assembly. You must control a sizable number, a reasonable number, a large chunk. And it is very difficult to impeach a government in Nigeria of today.
Okay, all right, beautiful. Good. Thank you very much, Justice. Now let's go to... All right, thank you very much, Justice. Right, thank you very much for your very incisive and extensive take. Now let's go to Port Harcourt, where we have Dr. Emmanuel Iroyenama standing by. He is a socio-political commentator and an advocate of good governance. Good morning, Dr. Iroyenama. Thanks for joining VOP this morning.
Good morning, listeners.
Beautiful, beautiful. Now, I'm sure that you have followed this conversation about what happened in Benue State. You know, where the speaker suddenly resigned yesterday after 4 members of the House of Assembly were suspended 2 days earlier. And Nigerians are asking, does it look like the power game, the rift between the secretary to the government of the federation, former governor of Benue State, by the way, George Akume, and the sitting governor, has it rubbed off on what we see in the State House of Assembly? Benue State is not alone in all of this. Now, the question I want to ask you is, as a political commentator, how do you think that we can establish the independence of the legislature from start to finish? Because even at the federal level, we see this form of interference from the executive on the legislature. We have the National Assembly. The president walks into the National Assembly to deliver the budget or to make a speech. And what you hear is, on your mandate we shall stand. And in some states, look at what Yahya Bello, an outgoing governor, asking members of the assembly to go to the National Assembly, to go to the State Assembly, and just do exactly what they are told to do. At this point, will it be possible for us to establish the independence of the legislature in Nigeria? And how do you think that we can achieve that?
First, let me say that we may be rushing into conclusions that the supposed former speaker has resigned. We're aware of how resignations of this kind happen in this country. Let us not be surprised that tomorrow we hear that he didn't put...
No, Dr. Emmanuel, the House now have a new elected speaker in the person of Alfred Mbega. And also the 4 persons that were suspended, also the suspension have been lifted. So today we have a new speaker in Benue State.
We had one in Lagos like that, and finally...
The difference, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irena, the difference between that of Lagos and that of Benue State is that in Lagos State, the embattled speaker at the time, Obasa, did not pen down a resignation letter.
He was, as a matter of fact, impeached.
He was impeached.
Yes, he was impeached. But in this case, the speaker, wrote a handwritten resignation letter. So,
and a new speaker has been.
So it seems like a done and dusted case. But go ahead, please.
Another question. Now, I've said this before on this platform and indeed in many other platforms, that the biggest problem we have is that we seem not to have political parties. The base of democracy, the beginning of democracy, is actually that molded by the political parties. You need to ask yourself, how do these leaders emanate? And I'll take a cue from what happened in Rivers State, perhaps in 2023, and maybe what has been happening in most of the elections too. In Rivers State, for instance, you had where one man told the entire world that he bought phone for everybody. Is that not enough never to make that organ independent? That's enough. We need to ask ourselves, how do they come on? The one you're seeing, Odudu and the former governor of Kogi State, similar thing happened. The one of Lagos, we know how they come. They just chosen from one small circle and they say go ahead. So, and this is spreading like a wildfire around the country. The more you have people who were handpicked by people and not voted for, the more you have people whose loyalty are to a person or a group of people, the independence is lost. The independence is lost. The more you have people who see political positions as positions of livelihood, their independence will be lost. So in solving that problem, we need to go back and strengthen our political parties. I mean, for crying out loud, there's some level of serious independence in these structures. And that's what the so-called presidential system will operate. Enshrines that the legislature should be different, the judicial should be different, and the executive should be different.
Now, Dr. Mani, at what
1999,
point do you think Nigeria as a nation, will I say, lost the focus? Because we could recall before now that what's the election that a whole lot of persons tagged the free and fair, the most credible election in Nigeria, that's of 1993. We would not really get issues of people cross-carpeting. I could recall then that the SDP, they have their own ideology to the point that it trickled down to the way people behave and even what they wear, how they look. At what point do you think Nigeria, as a political entity now, lost the balance?
When political parties became owned by a few persons, the non-party elections we had during the Babangida's administration, one of the significant things that came out of all of that was that members were equal to a large extent. We had an independent screening agency where I could, before even elections, petition a particular person, and the things I petitioned by the person were found, and the person will be disqualified. From the point we lost out all of that, if you those times, no system would have allowed one person to buy forms for everybody. It wouldn't have happened. It wouldn't happen. Because there was an agency who was interested in how you bought your form, who bought the form, who you are, what you have done in the past, all of that. The SSS was doing an investigation in that period. People could petition the SSS. We had agencies of government that we could petition to say, hey, check this person. This person's antecedent. At point A, point B, point. We knew how many persons that were disqualified just on those bases. The system was relatively clean. Today, 101 of those persons that could not contest an election at that time found it easy to get into power. Because it becomes a no man's land. It becomes who has.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, Chief Dr. Manuel, for your submission. Let's take this conversation to Bolaji Oluwatosin, who is a political affairs analyst. Good morning, if you can hear me, Barrister Bolaji Oluwatosin. I would like you to unmute your device if you can hear me, please.
Yes, good morning.
All right, good to have you join today's conversation. Interesting point, someone raised here on the table. At what point is it that Nigeria can only be better when political parties decide to, live to their ideology? Do you think Nigeria is moving in that trajectory whereby people will stop cross-carpeting and political elected officers actually will live by their words?
Yes, good morning once again. I don't think we are at that point in our political, journey in Nigeria where people would stop cross-carpeting because, politics in Nigeria is largely business, and to them, whatever serves their interests part-time, they make what they regard as, their quantum leap possible. So I doubt if there's a possibility that Nigerians will stick to ideology. Nigerians do not even understand, most of our politicians in Nigeria do not even understand that, there are in Sena climes what you regard as capitalism and socialism. They do not even understand that there's a political and economical phase to every ideology. So they just want to move with the tide and the waves of who is trending, what political party is trending. 2016, there's going to be a coalition. 2023, there's going to be a coalition. Is there money in it for us? They just move. So that's my opinion on that. So I don't think that, but I agree strongly that there's need for us to, strengthen our political parties to a point where we begin to tell people this is the ideological position of this political party. If you are not ideologically inclined to that political party, then there should be no reason why you should try to fraternize with such political parties. So that's my opinion.
Do political parties in Nigeria, do they have ideology to start with? And politicians in Nigeria, do you think that politicians in Nigeria have ideology? Let's take maybe from what is happening in US, whereby they have other political parties, but the most prominent happens to be the Republican and the Democrats. And from the way they do their things, even their manifestos and everything, you find out that these people actually have a defined way. They have a defined move. Bring it back to Nigeria, where someone can actually leave for example, in Delta State, there was a mass exodus of people who have been elected under the People's Democratic Party, leaving the Democrats now for the progressives. Do politicians in Nigeria really have ideology or understand what politicking is all about?
Yes, there are some political parties that I can speak to as this morning that I am sure that have ideological background and, members of their political party understand that there's an ideology that exists in such party. One is the African Action Congress, which, Omoyele Sowore is the chairman of the political party. I can tell you that
we lost communications, with you, Barrister Oluwatosin. Okay.
Ideology. You understand?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I didn't get the last
Yes,
part
I
of
can.
your submission. The voice was breaking. If you can say that again, I guess.
Okay. I said I know for sure that the African Action Congress, as a political party in Nigeria, believes strongly that there should be social revolution in the sense that the people must be prioritized far and above every other person in our society. So that's a political party in Nigeria that believes that strongly far and above anything else. The people must be prioritized, which means that people must benefit from the natural resources invested into the healthcare system, into the education, into many spheres of the people's life, just to empower the people.
All right, thank you.
All right then. Well, before we wrap up with this conversation, I'd like to go back to Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama. Now, just one quick question for you, Chief Dr. Emmanuel. Now, what do you think are the potential long-term consequences of these political happenings in Benue State on the legislative governance and the interbranch relations in that state?
If what happened in Benue is outside what we are speculating and it is a complete internal legislative thing, then it will strengthen the legislative process. It will strengthen democracy. However, if our speculations are right in any way, then there is problem. The bigger Nigerian problem will have taken over Benue like it has taken over a lot of states, including Rivers State. We must be careful what we do as leaders at different tiers. If we allow outsiders to influence and take over our supposed power, then we are doomed for it.
All right.
We're doomed for it.
All right.
So the future is as bleak itself. Democracy, I have said in Nigeria for a long time that democracy is dead. The Benue case may be one example of the deadness in our democracy.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama. Quick question, same question to Justice Atiku. Same question, especially, seeing that suspended members were reinstated, one of them became the speaker, and everything. Same question to you. All right, I do understand we've lost connection with Justice Atiku there. Well, let's wrap up this conversation. Now let's move to another. Oyebanji warns appointees to defend government policies, whether good or bad, where he says they're not defending his administration on social media and he's marking them one by one, his own appointees. Okay, let's talk about this when we come back. Join us again.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
All right, then welcome back. Now, Ekiti State Governor Biodun Oyebanji has expressed disappointment over the conduct of some of his political appointees, accusing them of failing to defend his administration on social media, despite being on the government's payroll. While speaking during an address to members of the Ekiti State University Alumni Solidarity Group, who presented him with a gubernatorial nomination form, Oyebanji condemned what he described as eating from both sides by certain appointees, where he also frowned at their inconsistent loyalty, even as the opposition intensifies its criticism. Now, the governor, who warned that he's marking them one by one, vowed to take action against appointees who continue to stay silent in the face of attacks. With the 2026 governorship election gradually approaching, Oyebanji said loyalty and consistent defense of his government were non-negotiable. Well, we still have with us Dr. Emmanuel Iroyena, my public affairs analyst. Doctor, let me stay with you on this. If you consider the concept of collective responsibility in governance, is it possible to situate what the governor said as inappropriate? I mean, I pay you to defend my policies. Even if the policies are not good before the public eye, why don't you spin it and bring out the salient good points and let the public know? Is it possible to situate what the governor said as inappropriate?
Very well situated. It is a case of collective responsibility. It is either you're out of a government or you're in. You can't be in. Decisions are taken and you think it is bad and you keep quiet and you're still there. Then something is wrong. It's a simple management case. What is happening shows that people are not taking ownership of group decisions. The rule is, if you are in a group and a decision is reached, that decision is no longer just the group's decision, it's your own decision.
Okay. Okay. Now, Doctor, I'd like for us to situate it within the morality of politics. When you look at something going on in government, let's go to the federal level, where we see people like Daniel Bwala, Bayo Ononoga, even when Nigerians understand that some of the policy initiatives, policy directions of the government is not yielding appropriate results. The deliverables don't gel with what Nigerians expect. Is it proper for them to continue to defend the government, even in the face of what Nigerians consider as not right?
To the extent they think that the government is performing, I've given you the alternative. It's for them to leave. That's why we tend to forgive them most of the time. The only issue we have with them is what you said is wrong. And that will interacting at that point with them. But the fact is, you can't remain in a government, whether the government is actually doing correctly or not. Your opposition should be in-house to make sure the government does the right thing. So, Buhala and the rest of them, they failed with the president in the eyes of the Nigerian people.
So
because what they are saying to the Nigerian people is wrong.
Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iroyena, in other words, they're saying that people in Nigeria should continue progressing in error, because of the fact that they've been appointed to do so, even when things are not working the way it should. Is that what you're saying this morning?
Reject the appointment if you do not want to be part of it. It's a government as it is. If I say government is lying, I'm including all of them in government.
All right.
You can't remain in government, inside the government, say you're telling the truth, when the government is actually a lying government, and then you're outside. Live honorably and join us outside to criticize the government properly.
All right, then. Well, thank you very much, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iroyena. Let me bring Bolaji Oluwatosin into this conversation. I do believe you're still with us.
Yes, I'm still here.
Great. Now, the question on my mind is, could it be that there are other powers, influencing these appointees? Because if the governor himself appointed, his cabinet, is it possible for them to be working against his government because he's saying that they are eating from both sides. And I mean, one will think, if you appointed them solely, if you solely made that decision, why not let them go? Why not change your cabinet? Why not change the ministers you feel are not supporting your government and are eating from both sides, as it were? Could it be that there could be something else playing out here as the state approaches 2026 elections?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I think that this statement by Governor Oyebanji, is not only dangerous, but it is disastrous to our, democracy. The statement already admits that the governor would, when he does bad and when he does good, his appointees should, pay blind deference to it. And this is not democracy, in my opinion. It is dictatorship. And, in Senate climes, appointees are not slaves, and they are not hired to massage the ego of the governor. So, but for the dysfunctional democracy that we have in many parts of Nigeria, especially for a state as Ekiti, where attention is supposed to be given to the resuscitation of the economy of the people, we have the governor, trying to threaten his own appointees. They are public servants. They are paid from taxpayers' money, from the sweat of the common man in Ekiti, from the sweat of the taxpayers' money, from the resources of the Ogoni people, which have now been nationalized constitutionally to be for Nigeria. So I believe that for a governor to be demanding that blind loyalty should be paid to him, whether to cover up his incompetence, his corruption or abuse, is to destroy the idea of accountability. And we have to be clear about it that loyalty to a governor must never be higher than loyalty to the people and to the constitution. So a government that actually fears criticism from within itself has already lost its moral authority. So, I would always maintain that real loyalty is speaking truth to power, not covering up failure. So the governor is wrong in its entirety by, saying they are eating from both ends. What he actually means is that they should stay loyal to him when it is good and when it is bad. And for me, I found at it, and I believe that what these appointees must do is to roll up their sleeves, work their butts off, and live up to the expectations of the Constitution, which has originally empowered the governor to make this delegation to them.
All right, thanks very much, Oluwatosin. I like your position, but I would like to ask this question. Is it appropriate for somebody to disagree with a government and still stay within that government?
Yes,
Since
of course.
You cannot,
of course.
So what's the moral basis for that? You cannot on your own criticize the government, even when you disagree, and that same government is still paying you salaries. Is there a moral justification for you to continue to stay within that government?
Now, the question that begs for an answer is, what is your definition of morality? If your definition of morality is that they must be loyal to the governor, even when the governor goes wrong, it means that they are not loyal to the Constitution, which empowers the governor himself. So the question should be, should they be loyal to the government or to the Constitution? So where the government is slowly driving the people into poverty and penury, so they should sleep and fold their hands and watch things go bad.
Okay, now
is that your argument?
Okay, is it the Constitution that put you there or the governor that put you there? And why, if you disagree with, I'm sorry, sir, if you disagree with the government or if you disagree with the policies of the government, and you can't criticize that government, being part of that government, why don't you just leave the government and criticize the government from outside, than stay in the government, receive salaries from the government, and not defend the policies of that government?
When we're ready for serious democracy, we will stop asking these questions, because we will pay attention to what is right and not what seems politically correct. Your argument is that we should be politically correct by aligning ourselves with a government that have been bedeviled against Nigerians.
No,
so
we're not putting forward the arguments. We're asking the questions, on behalf of Nigerians, and we're basically just posing the questions to you.
In Senate climes, and that's why I'm arguing that in Senate climes, there is nothing wrong criticizing a government that has gone wrong. There's nothing wrong in Senate climes.
All right, now.
Okay, I'm sorry, Fina. Let me stay with Oluwatosin. Oluwatosin, I'm very sure you very well understand the concept of collective responsibility. If it's in the UK and you are a minister in a Labour government, and when you disagree with that government's policy, what do you do? Can you hear me,
Hello?
sir?
I didn't hear that.
Okay, I said I'm sure you are very well aware of the concept of collective responsibility in politics, in governance. Let's take the UK for instance. If you are a minister in the Labour government and you disagree with the policies of that government, what do?
If you disagree with the policies of a political party, you should cross carpet to a political party that you now believe in.
Okay,
that's what obtained in the United Kingdom. Okay, so I like to draw your attention to the example of James Comey and Donald Trump in 2017, and also draw your attention to General James Mattis and Donald Trump in 2018. This matters borders on the U.S. Defense Secretary and the FBI Director. You understand? So if there's demand for loyalty and there's decline from this side, it does not mean that one cannot criticize the government, especially where that government has failed to live up to the responsibilities.
Okay,
so this is where I now agree with you that
these people that you mentioned, were they appointees of Donald Trump?
Yes.
And after that, they stayed back in the government.
Trump fired them.
Beautiful. So is there anything wrong in what Oyebanji is trying to do? If you don't defend this government, I'll let you go. I'm happy that you brought this instance that, and also say that when they criticize the government, being part of the government, what did Trump do? Trump fired them, and that is the same warning that Oyebanji is giving.
That's why I'm arguing that if Oyebanji wants to fire them, let him go and fire them so that we can know that we now have a night of 1,000 laughs directed by Oprah Williams. Let's know that our democracy is now a joke.
So you think that this particular statement it made is not going to yield any fruit? Because it says something that for your information will come for you at the appointed time. That was what the governor actually said. And also, just to put that in what happened between the president and Rauf Aregbesola with the likes of Obayo Ononoga coming up to say that, when you did something wrong to someone who I think had fed you for so long, there'll be punishment for such. Are we going to see something playing out, more like a dated thing now coming up in Ekiti State also?
Definitely, for every antagonism done by anyone in the government, there is every likelihood that there will be punishment for it, especially with the politics that plays in Nigeria. I believe strongly that some of them will be removed from office. I believe strongly that some of them, by this act, would have jeopardized their political, journey in Ekiti State. But one thing remains: whoever is clear, and I've made it point clear in the public space that they are displeased with what the government is doing. Of course, rightfully, the government will dismiss them from their service, but it remains that history will never forget them.
All right, then. Thank you very much. Also, a quick question as you wrap up with your concluding thoughts. I'd like you to do that in about a minute. In the instances that you cited of Donald Trump, does that make the democracy practice in the United States a joke?
That's why I say in Senate climbs, and I didn't give an example of the United States as the Senate climb democracy.
All right,
I did not.
All right,
I didn't.
Okay, so let's have your concluding thoughts. You can merge all the conversations in 1 minute, please.
Okay, my closing remark is that Nigeria is not lacking in talents, like I've always argued. We're lacking in truth, and our politics has been captured by betrayal, by silence, by fear. Whether it is Atiku trying to remain relevant, or Aneze trying to sell out the voice of the ego, Benue legislators bowing to executive pressure, or a governor demanding blind obedience, one thing is sure, and the message is same: the ruling elite is afraid of the people who is afraid of the class of people who can think for themselves. So Nigerians must roll up their sleeves, work their butts off, and begin to think for themselves and stand up to real democracy.
All right, then. Thank you very much, Comrade Justice Itietie, political affairs commentator. Thank you for joining us. Let's get concluding thoughts from Chief Dr. Emmanuel Irayanama.
Nigeria is in for it. We must, as a people, define what we actually want. We know the truth. We should stop covering the truth. Our political parties are no parties. There must be discipline in our political parties. We must find out better ways of getting our leaders. Our leaders are us. We must ourselves change to make Nigeria a great nation. Until we change as followers, we may not be able to get the proper leaders we need. We need independence of the structures of government. Legislation should not be captured by the executive.
All right.
Judiciary must not be captured by the executive.
All right.
These tiers of government are created separately because they need to check one another.
All right. Nigeria, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iranama. And my mistake, the last speaker was actually, the previous speaker was Bolaji Oluwatosin. Yes. Well, thank you very much, Bolaji Oluwatosin, for being part of the conversation. And big thanks to you as well, Chief Dr. Emmanuel Iranama. And we've also had Comrade Justice Etiete join the conversation, and Barrister Darlington Agromo as well. Well, that's it on the show this morning. At 10 o'clock, we'll go into the papers, dissecting stories from the dailies. Join us then. On behalf of my colleagues, Chukuma Okoro, Fina Okechukwu, and of course, the backroom staff, I am Moses Humphrey, wishing you a beautiful morning. Bye for now.